summarize from the previous lecture. What is worth remembering is that there are two procedures in the Council of Europe. Reporting procedure. So each country has to submit a report, and then this report is examined by the committee, and as a result, the committee gives its conclusions of conformity or non-conformity. And there is the second provision, the second procedure. It's called collective complaints procedure, and it is quasi-judicial. Like during that procedure, the complainant presents his or her arguments against the member state party, and then the committee decides about the breach of charters, standards, or that there is no violation of the provision of the charter. I decided to change a little bit my agenda. Firstly, I will present you the conclusions. Maybe it will be a follow-up of this part which we had chance to discuss, to talk about in the first hour, and then I will tell you a little bit about some standards, about some provisions in the charter. Before I will present you the conclusions, of course not all regarding Lithuania, but only one or two provisions. The one interesting matter is, and it is not a legal, rather the experience one about the Council of Europe is a number of protesters. It's difficult to describe, but you probably have seen how looks like the building of the Parliament of the European Union, because it is in Strasbourg as well. It's quite big, round, but very next to this building there is a building of the European Court of Human Rights. I suppose that you also have seen. It is quite characteristic. It consists with two parts. They are oval, both, so it's not typical building. And it is on the one side of the road. On the another side of the road there is a building called Agora. This is the place where the committee has its session, and where is the Department on Social Charter. And there's also, this department also deals with the security code of social rights, because there's another treaty, another regulations. It's called, as I said, Code on Social Rights, and there is also a special committee which analyzes whether the member states party fulfill the obligation of this code. But nevertheless, this is the Agora building. It's quite big. And there's the third building. It's called Grand Palais, and this is the main headquarters of the Council of Europe. There's the Secretary General there, his offices, and many other departments. But what I wanted to say that many people fight with the Court of Human Rights not only by complaining to it, but also especially when the European Court of Human Rights refuses to accept the complaint, or just give not satisfactory for the complainer decision. They decide to protest against the decision. First, they protest just near to the buildings of court. Then they were asked to move from the court to another part of the street. And here's the treatment. They protest in tents. So they decided to live whole year in a tent, and having tables with complaints and accusing the court of injustice. Well, it's quite interesting for two facts. First of all, that they are so persistent and strong to remain in the stands for a whole year, also in winter. There's a canal next to this building, so they are just near the canal. So I suppose that during the winter it's quite cold. But for the whole year, the tents exist. And generally there is at least one person in this. But another is that they also use a trick, because from time to time I walk near these tents, and most of them are empty. There are only bags inside them, but they are showing that the protest is still ongoing. Well, it is quite interesting, and another interesting fact, just as an anecdote, is about the European Court of Human Rights, is that in Hungary there was introduced a special law regarding retired person, and this law caused something like almost 1 million person diminish over pensions. So this person decided to go to the European Court of Human Rights, and they lodged a complaint. And according to the information which I received, it takes a court at least, there is a special division devoted only to these complaints, Hungarian complaints. There are something like 12 or 15 persons in this division, and it takes at least 3 to 5 years to decide about the admissibility of these complaints. So not decide if there is a fair ground, but just decide if there's a 3 to 5 years, and probably next 5 years to deal all of these cases. So as you see, the court is stuck with the cases, and well, the bureaucracy is everywhere. But luckily, the committee is not so burdened with the complaints yet, and works quite smoothly. And in January, it presented its conclusions, also regarding Lithuania. And let me read some of the general remarks regarding Lithuania, and I suppose only one conclusions regarding Article 12. And in the general remarks, the conclusions about Lithuania says that this report concerns the accepted provisions of the following articles belonging to the thematic group Health, Social Security and Social Protection. As I said, each year the different group is concerned, and in 2013 it was Health, Social Security and Social Protection. And it was the right to safe and healthy working conditions, the right to protection of health, the right to social security, it's Article 12, which we will discuss a little bit later, the right to benefit from social welfare services, the right of elderly person to social protection, the right to protection against poverty and social exclusions. Lithuania has accepted the articles from this group with the exception of Articles 12, paragraph 2, 13, paragraph 4, 23 and 30. The reference period was 1st January 2008 to 31 December 2011. So the data which was gathered was from this period, from 2008 to 2011. The present chapter on Lithuania concerns 50 situations and contains 8 conclusions of conformity, Article 3, paragraph 1, 3, paragraph 2, 11, paragraph 3, 12, paragraph 3, 13, paragraph 2, 13, paragraph 3, 40, and both paragraphs of 14. 5 conclusions of non-conformity, Article 3, paragraph 3, 11, paragraph 2, 12, paragraph 1, 12, paragraph 4, and 13, paragraph 1. In respect of the over 2 situation concerning Articles 3, paragraph 4 and 11, paragraph 1, the committee needs further information in order to assess the situation. So the committee decided not to give his conclusion because there was a lack of information and asked to provide this lacking information. The committee consequently asked the government of Lithuania, of course, to comply with its obligation to provide this information in the next report on the articles in question, so in 4 years, because this is the reporting cycle. The next report from Lithuania deals with aspect provisions of the following articles belonging to the thematic group labor rights. So the another group, and it is right to just condition of work, right to fair remuneration, right to organize, right to bargain collectively, right to information and collective consultation, the right to take part in determination and improvement of work conditions and working environment, the right to dignity of work, the right of workers representing to protection in the undertaking, and the last one, which I am a reporter, is the right to information and consultation in collective redundancies procedures. The deadline for this report was 31st of October 2013. Truly speaking, I am not aware if Lithuania provides all information before the deadline. I hope yes. And now please let me read Article 12, paragraph 1. You may check what this provision says